you're saying like, yeah, okay, we figured out how to make crypto more useful for regular financial transactions. We'll make a crypto that's pinned exactly to fiat currency. And I mean, that's useful. And of course, governments know that's useful. And governments one by one are going to be introducing CBDCs, like just central bank distributed decentralized currencies. So, I mean, the U.S. government may itself issue, in effect, a stablecoin, which is cryptography based and is pinned to the price of U.S. dollar. Russia can introduce e-ruble, China introduce e-RMB. Then you have a more complex ecosystem where it's less obvious what's the legitimate role for a stablecoin, which is sort of privately issued. If governments all have CBDCs that act the same way, but still you're off to the side with all these things of the idea of having something that you can actually use as a digital money, which is not pinned to a government. And why don't you want to be pinned to a government? Well, the government currencies are just manipulated by the government central banks and by all the corporate interests that are playing into the decisions of the central banks. And of course, governments globally are playing all sorts of political games against each other. So that by pinning to one particular government, you're sort of taking a side in those political games. It seems far more in the original spirit of the cypherpunk, crypto pioneers to try to make a digital money that is decentralized, secure, cryptography based, is fast and cheap to transact with, but also is not tied to any fiat currency. But then that brings up the question, okay, well, what does it mean to be stable? Like, isn't the definition of stable pinned to a fiat currency? But of course it isn't, right? I mean, the definition of something being stable to mean that it's not too volatile, it's not going up and down too insanely rapidly, and it's not too easy for parties to manipulate for their own end.